Hey everybody, this is your friendly neighborhood Antonicus Maximus here, Anthony and my friends. And today I wanted to talk about a subject that is a very difficult subject to talk about, um, just in general. And that topic is suicide and suicidal ideation. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because today is the National Suicide Prevention or World Suicide Prevention Day. And September is Suicide Prevention Month or Suicide Awareness Month, however you want to phrase it essentially. Now, this isn't going to be a very long video. So first of all, thank you for watching. This will be on the Ludic Lounge's YouTube page, and you can always find it there if I don't share the link on various social media pages. But I just wanted to bring some awareness, bring some attention, and talk to you about some of the warning signs, and hopefully it could either help yourself out or help someone close to you. Again, because the more you know, the more you'll be able to help, essentially. Now, the first thing I always want to say is if you do have any suicidal thoughts or suicide ideation, of course, call the National Suicide Awareness Line, 1-800-273-8255. If you're actually a veteran, either if you're either active or former military, there's on that crisis line, you can actually dial 1 after that, and it'll take you straight to the Veterans Services for that. That is something I personally just learned about within the last couple of days. And so any veterans out there, that's a nice little resource for you as well. So some of the warning signs, and again, these are just stereotypical ones. These are just kind of like general population warning signs. Each person is their own individual, so these may manifest in different ways. So these are just kind of, if you like to think, the umbrella warning signs when it comes to suicidality, if you will. So presence of really any of these warning signs, this is what we call immediate action. Typically, you need to get help at that particular minute. And again, that's if your loved one's threatening to hurt themselves or yourself, that's looking for ways to actively try to hurt yourself and or kill yourself. And additional warning signs that a lot of people don't really realize, because a lot of times we focus on the immediate, right? We focus on the actual actions. But just the warning signs that, again, are generic, but some of the warning signs that a lot of people display when they are a higher risk for suicide is hopelessness, rage, anger, acting very recklessly, or engaging in risky activities, sometimes even not even thinking of, oh, let me go out and do this risky activity. Sometimes it's just impulsively doing so. Feelings of being trapped. And I know that's kind of really tough right now with COVID running as rampant as it is, but that is a warning sign. But it takes that up a notch, essentially, like the feeling that there is no way out of this scenario, of this feeling of trapped. So, and again, I want to apologize. I may be stumbling and stammering. This is the first time I've posted a video like this, so this is a little new to me. So if you don't mind bearing with me, I highly, highly appreciate it. Increase alcohol and or drug use. This is a big one. This is a huge one. And a lot of times you can tell either with yourself or within others what that looks like for each individual person. For example, if a person hasn't touched alcohol or touched any sort of recreational drug or hard drug at all or ever, that could just be a couple of drinks a day, all of a sudden turning to a couple of drinks a day. That could be a warning sign. That could be time for either yourself or either yourself reaching out to somebody or you reaching out to somebody if you've noticed this. And this is like the next one I want to talk about is a huge one. This is one that typically a lot of people portray, especially introverts, and that is withdrawing from friends, family, and society. And again, with COVID, this one is a little bit tougher, right? Because a lot of people are still staying at home or have a stay-at-home order, so they are increasingly withdrawn. But in general, If it's somebody that you've noticed that, you used to talk to multiple times a day or multiple times in a week, and now all of a sudden you haven't spoken to them in months and months and months and months, or they haven't reached out in months and months and months, or you haven't reached out to somebody like a close friend or family member that you normally are consistently talking to, that is definitely a sign. And again, I already talked about agitation, but anxiety can play a part of this too. Anxiety, agitation, inability to sleep, or increased sleep, more so than normal, than what is a typical person does. Like, for example, if you're used to running off of 6 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep, and that's your quote unquote normal, um, and all of a sudden now you're finding yourself sleeping 13 hours a day, that could be a sign. And again, I'm not trying to list these signs to make you worry about yourself or make yourself extremely worried about. I'm not trying to spread panic. I'm just trying to spread awareness, because maybe some of you out there are suffering from these signs or know somebody that may hit a few of these boxes. So again, I just am trying to do my part to share this information with you all. So dramatic changes in mood, and again, it makes sense, right? We talked about acting recklessly. We talked about increased hopelessness, increased anger. So it all kind of fits hand in hand to that. Now, this next one is rough as well, and it's perceiving no reason for living or no sense of purpose in life. And again, these are generalized statements, right? These are what I like to think of as like an umbrella statements for this, because this has different meaning for everybody, and somebody could feel no sense of purpose, but it doesn't necessarily make them suicidal. Again, I'm trying to give you typically speaking warning signs. So alongside with those kind of warning signs, there is some factors that may decrease these risks. And one of them being a positive social support, either close friends, close family, building up this support group for you that will be there for you whenever you need to reach out. A lot of times, another positive influence that may decrease risk is spirituality. And again, that term typically means things very different from person to person. For some, that's increasing going to church or increasing reading the Bible. For others, that could be increased meditation or increased readings of different religions or something of that nature. And again, spirituality just means something different to so many other people. But if you're listening and if you're watching this, then you know what spirituality means to you. And again, by tapping into something of this, that may decrease your risk. A sense of responsibility to family. Typically, people who have suicidal ideation or are suicidal, they don't feel responsible to their family. They don't feel a part of a family unit. And I'm not talking like mother, father, brother, sister. I'm talking about whatever a family unit looks like to the individual person. For some, close friends are a family unit. A lot of times people who have suicidal ideation or suicidal don't feel like they fit into their family anymore, don't feel like they, again, talking about that withdrawal, they withdraw from their family unit, whatever form that looks like and whatever form that takes. So by increasing this responsibility to this family unit, whether it be biological, whether it be by choice, whatever a family unit looks like, again, giving that special someone, that person, a reason to keep on living, to keep on going. And positive coping skills is a huge one. Now, again, I already mentioned meditation. And again, positive coping skills look differently from person to person. For some people, journaling is a great coping skill to get emotions out there, to get feelings out there. Meditation, I mentioned. Another one is, again, a hobby, some sort of hobby, whether it be like creatively writing or creatively drawing or something of that nature, just to spark a sense of emotional healing and emotional coping from this feeling of nothingness or this feeling of sadness or dread. And again, a positive therapeutic relationship. If you need therapy, and you're in a position to get therapy, please do so. Please, please, please do so. So what I'm going to try to do right now is do a share screen and go over with you all um, what a certain specific thing is. And by thing, I know I'm butchering this, so please forgive me. What a safety plan is the word I was searching for. But I'm going to go over a safety plan and what that looks like with you all. And essentially what a safety plan is, it's literally what it sounds like. It is a plan that you put in place that helps you become more safe in times of crisis. And so I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So please, again, I haven't really done this in quite a while. So let me see if I can do that. So hopefully this is recording and hopefully you can all see this. If you can't, please feel free to reach out or even just do a generic Google search of, safety plan template. Because that's essentially what I did. I just did a Google search of suicide prevention safety plan template. So this is one of the templates out there. There are different kinds, but this is a generic, just everyday one. A lot of the terminology may be different as far as wording from treatment plan, or not treatment plan, excuse me, from safety plan to safety plan, but this is still at its bare bones. They're all essentially close to the same thing. So the step one is warning signs, thoughts, images, mood, situation, behavior that a crisis may be developing. And again, this is a personalized to yourself. So this is if you yourself are thinking that you are getting close to harming yourself or taking your own life, you can identify the warning signs within yourself that may be a trigger to you, that you're leading down this dark path. The step two is internal coping strategies, things I can do to take my mind off my problems without contacting another person. Again, working on the self-help portion of that. And again, there's a great couple one they put their relaxation technique, physical activity. Again, whether that be meditation, whether it be praying for some people. Physical activities can include art forms, drawing, writing, creating something out of clay or Play-Doh or anything like that. And again, you can just list down those things. So that way, this safety plan is for you to refer back to if you are getting to the point where you are seriously considering harming yourself. You have this plan in place and you can follow these steps, and hopefully it helps you take a step away from that ledge. People in social settings is step three, that provide distraction. Now, I like how this particular one has it split up between person, place, and place, because a lot of times people are afraid to reach out because they feel as though they're a burden towards others. So they're less likely to reach out to seek some sort of help or just to seek some sort of distraction. So by adding this particular step of place and place is a huge thing. It's a great thing because a lot of the times, like for some people, it's the Starbucks right down the road, or it's the diner across the street. It could even be something like the park if you live near a park. Anything that just takes your mind away from the suicidal thoughts that you have and just gives you a sense of comfort and a sense of still wanting to be around. And again, this differs from person to person, right? And so, for example, you would just name the two people closest to you, their phone numbers. And a lot of the times people think this particular one and writing their actual phone numbers is silly. But what I would counter with is, yes, you do have everyone's phone number, especially people that are close to you, programmed into your smartphone for those of us who carry smartphones. But a lot of times if we're in what I like to call spinning, if we're at the point where we're kind of like spinning down a drain, if you will, if we're going down that dark and deep path, we aren't exactly in the right state of mind. So by physically having this written out for you, it is a great reminder. It's a great physical thing for you to look at and say, okay, that's right. Billy's phone number is 555-123-456 or whatever have you. So step four is a little bit similar to step three, and that's people whom I can ask for help. And again, this differs from either people close to you, um, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, best friends, whomever. But it's not just limited to those people, right? It's just people whom I can ask for help, people in general. And a lot of times, people put down the name of a therapist they're seeing, or a former therapist they're seeing, or a therapist that they heard of that they can write down the name and phone number and contact. Step 5 is, again, kind of what I just mentioned, is professionals or agencies I can contact during a crisis. So clinic names, names of hospitals, things like that. Um, Urgent care services that can be provided for. And again, it already lists the suicide prevention hotline, which is amazing. It's an amazing resource, and those people do amazing work on there. And a lot of the times it's not just having to call somebody. There are actual places now, and again, there's links to the suicide prevention hotline there, and the website and the organization, where you can just chat online, because some people just feel comfortable chatting online in like a texting format or like a DMing format, because they can't express themselves verbally, but they can do so with words on a page, or words on a phone, or words on in an email, whatever that looks like. So don't let this here distract you that, oh no, I actually have to talk to somebody. The fact that you can actually chat with somebody online almost instantaneously is a great thing too. And it's a great resource as well. And again, step 6, making the environment safe. If you have shown suicide attempts in the past, and you know that having those extra sleeping pills by your nightstand is typically a way that you would use suicide for, making the environment safe for that first one could be throwing away the sleeping pills, or throwing out the sleeping pills entirely. Or, you know, if you're someone that owns firearms, and is a huge enthusiast, and are hugely enthusiastic about firearms, it could be something as simple as locking up the firearms, or getting the firearms out of the house, um, moving the knife set that you know is there, moving all the box cutters and the razor blades out in a particular area. Anything essentially that you can do to make the environment around you safe, to where you're not tempted to utilize those tools or resources to harm yourself, or to ultimately take your own life. And this last one underneath step 6 is simple, but yet it's so huge for a person who is in this state of mind. And that is the one thing that is most important to me and is worth living. And that could be anything. That could be my 2 cats, my dog, my goldfish, you know, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my partner, my, I don't know, whatever that looks like to you. And so with this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pop back on to me, I think, hopefully. So if you're still watching, thank you so much for taking the time. I was a little nervous doing this because I've never done anything like this before, but I just wanted to give you all resources and maybe give a brief description of what suicide trigger signs can look like. So either you can look at that inside of yourself or someone close to you. And ultimately, if you're watching this video and you're in that deep, dark mood, or have been in that mood for a while, I just want to go out on a limb and say, you are an important person. You have an important story to tell and have yet to tell. And life is worth living. In this moment, it may not feel that way, but life is worth living. It is. Thank you for your time. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, if you want me to do other topics, something like that. But overall, just thank you. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being a part of this world, because you bring something special to it. Thanks, guys.